Good Saturday morning to you, everybody. Here at 11 o'clock hour. We're back again here on Sports Chat. I'm Herman. Here's Johnny.
What's
John,
going
what's going
on?
on with you?
Man, oh man. Lot to talk about.
Ah, well,
Lot.
yeah, it's getting hot and heavy, getting hot and heavy. Can
Listen,
you say Joker and Jimmy?
listen, man. I think from what it looks like, those two are on a collision course. Jimmy and Jokic, man. What the Heat are doing is nothing short of miraculous. The fact that they lost their first play-in game and had to sneak in as the eighth seed on the
Right.
last play-in, and for those guys to take out the number one seed and make quick work of, and they look like they're making quick work of the Celtics. It's incredible. I would for one was one who was not that big on Jimmy Butler. I thought he was a bit overrated, but man, I've turned my thinking on him. He's been unbelievable. And Jokic, what can you say about him, man? Just triple double machine, sees the floor, runs it like a guard. Just incredible, man. So if that winds up being the NBA matchup, I know it's not the sexy matchup that NBA executives are probably craving. Obviously, a Lakers Celtic with both teams sitting on 17 championships, and this would be the tiebreaker. I think it would be a lot more appealing to a national audience, because obviously most networks want to draw and they want to attract the casual fan. Diehards like me and you, we're going to watch whoever's playing. But there are some people who are casual fans, and a matchup like that would draw their interest. But hey, man, if you like basketball, I don't see how you can't appreciate what the Heat and the Nuggets are doing right now.
What, John? What does a person or even a team has to do to get out of that stigma that we have for the brand name? We're brand name driven when it comes to everything: clothes, food, sports, cars, right? But the fact of the matter, if a car gets you from A to B, point A to point B, right? If your clothes work and don't shrink and don't fade, right? They still work, but we're attached to the brand name. And as you're saying, number one, uh, we're seeing a case of team, right? We're seeing a case of team. Nobody considers uh Jokic or or Butler superstars per
Right,
se,
right.
right? But they're the best players on their team, and then they're playing within the team concept. So, what's the problem when it comes to that?
Well, again, unity. I go back to, obviously, I'm from Detroit, and so I have experienced watching a team win without a bona fide superstar, in the 2004 Detroit Pistons, who took down a team of superstars because of their lack of unity. We're talking about, that was during the height of the Kobe Shaq feud, and he
Right,
had come off his rape case in Colorado. And so,
right.
testament to what can be done and what can be accomplished when there are no egos. All egos are checked at the door, and nobody cares who gets the credit or not. I can see, Jamal Murray would probably be more of a star on another team, that he's sharing currently with Nikola Jokic. But those guys, the way they seamlessly feed off of each other. And then you got the Miami Heat, which is Jimmy Butler and a bunch of
Of
no
non-drafted,
non-drafted.
who are they free agent guys?
You know what I'm saying? But again, they've rallied behind Jimmy B, and those guys, they just keep coming at you. It's like no lead is safe with those guys. They just keep coming. And then you had the little dust up where the guy got in Jimmy Butler's face.
Oh, Grant Williams.
And that from that point on, Miami went on the 20, I think it was the 26
24-9.
24-9 run. It's like, so, you got your stars in LA. You got the LeBron and AD. You got your stars on Boston. You got Jason Tatum, and I would even consider Jaylen Brown to be not as big of a star, but when you have those unified teams that pull for each other, and I never get watching Boston. I never get a real synergy between Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. They never seem to be on the same page to me. I don't see a lot of energy between the two. I don't see a lot of fist bumping between the two. I don't think they like each other. I really don't.
Well, I mean, but do they have to like each other to win?
No, but eventually, like it did with the Lakers, obviously they won 3 championships together, but you saw it come to head in that 2004 series against the Pistons. Pistons had talent. The Pistons had no business winning that series based upon talent.
But they believed in themselves.
That's what I'm saying. And they took advantage of that team's disunity.
Right.
And their disharmony.
Right.
And you see it. You can see it. It was evident. So team unity wins.
Well, now, and so here's something I want to ask. So we talk about team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Team. And so often now, Denver is a deeper and better team, right? Not team-wise, talent-wise, but team-wise unity,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So on the other instance, Boston has more talent, we would say,
Mm-hmm.
but Miami is better as a team or as a unit, and so the better team is the better unified team is going to win.
No doubt. Miami has they have what they have is that belief in their leader.
Okay.
They get, and I'll be honest with you too. Eric Spoelstra is proven to be, and his name needs to start being mentioned among the elite coaches in NBA.
John, isn't it interesting the fact that here's a coach who's won 2 championships.
Mm-hmm.
He's won 2, and he still gets no credit as a coach because he had LeBron, Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, but look,
but
look
he
with this group. Look at what he's doing with this group.
And that's what I'm saying. But it's taking him what, 8 years to finally get some credit? Come on.
Yeah. I mean, we like the Sexton, we like the big names, the Phil Jacksons, the Pat, the, you know what I'm saying? We love those. We sort of romanticize those names. Never mind the fact that Phil Jackson took over a team that had Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. And oh, by the way, he came to a team in LA that had Shaq and Kobe. So, and I don't, I give him credit. He did what he did. They won what they won. But I've never seen him take a team like this Miami Heat team as far and deep in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? It's some people are finishers. Some people want to come in. They don't want to build from scratch. They don't want to build from the foundation up. They want to come along when the major pieces are set in place and then come. That's Phil Jackson. And I don't give him, and I don't knock him for that. That's his skill set. That's what he does. But Eric Spoelstra is proving to be an elite coach, and I think it's about time that he start getting the credit and recognition as such. The guy is phenomenal.
Well, it isn't interesting as well is that the head coach always get the accolades, but Was it? I don't know. Somebody tell me here. You tell me, or somebody tell me here on the internet. Well, you never hear people really talk about Tex
Tex,
Winter,
the author of that triangle offense. Absolutely.
author of that triangle, which
Right.
which which took Chicago to another level,
That's
right?
right.
And
That's
then
right.
took Shaq and Kobe to a level that they had not been. They were on those teams before Phil came, yes, but Phil also came with Tex Winter.
And and I give credit to Phil. He's smart enough to some coaches would probably want their system and their way. No, he was smart enough to see that he had a winner in Tex Winters and say, hey, we're gonna go with this. So I give him credit for that. Part of
Well,
being
listen, do
a
here's the nugget nobody really mentions is that uh when Jackson played on those championship Knicks team, they kind of ran the triangle off. They didn't call it the triangle offense, but that where everybody gets the touch and the open man takes the shot type side, working from the um, inside out
right,
around the perimeter of the court.
right,
That's how the Knicks played. Um, they just put they put a name to it with the Tex Winter, the
right,
triangle
right.
or whatever. But Phil was accustomed to that. He knew it was a good working system because he played in it himself. So quite naturally, you're going to adjust to something that you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, man. So I'm all props to these coaches again. And I will say about the Lakers, I don't think they're as deep as Denver,
Right.
but they've been right there.
Oh,
We're
at the
talking
door.
about a
But
five
you
and
you
point
you,
loss.
you can't win 4 games being right there.
Yeah,
Sooner or later, you got to come inside.
yeah, you got to come inside, but it's not like they're being. I mean, game one, Lakers down 3 with what just under a minute left.
Yeah.
LeBron comes down and shoots a 3. Instead of going getting the easy basket and playing good defense, he tries to go hero ball and shoot the 3, misses it, game over. Even and then in game 2, as poorly as I think he and to a lesser degree AD played in game 2, you walk a 5-point loss. So
Well, and not only that, you had the lead the whole game
yeah,
until the
yeah.
fourth quarter.
So it's not like they can't play with these guys. But what you saw in game 1 from Jokic, you saw a guy that can turn it on. You saw game 2 from Jamal Murray, who
Ooh,
hit the broadside of a barn for 3 quarters and then caught absolute
23 caught fire.
23
Yeah.
points in the
But
second.
and the key, I think we talked about it off air. Um, we mentioned both of them, and they showed up. We mentioned Michael Porter, and we
Mm-hmm.
talked about Bruce Brown. Um, and both of those guys made their shots
That's it.
game two. When they needed to, and so again, uh, things are kind of working out the way we kind of mentioned it. Um, Somebody else had to step up on the Lakers side, via Walker or Hachimuro's been playing very well.
AR-15.
D'Lo's got to wake up. So if they get some contribution from somebody else, they'll be right there.
Well, I think the series to your point is going to largely hinge upon the role players. I look
Yeah,
at AD and Bron and Joker and Jamal Murray as sort of a wash.
right.
Those 4
Yes,
guys,
yes, yes.
and so where the game will be won or lost, where the series will be won or lost in, since those 4 will sort of cancel each other out, it's going to depend largely upon the supporting cast. And to this point, Denver's supporting cast has been better than the Lakers.
Well, let's say Bruce Brown has been.
Been Bruce Brown, Michael Porter Jr., even KCP has hit some
Well,
big
not
shots.
and the key though is I expect that from role players at home.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
I expect tonight, even tonight, one of the Laker role players had to show up big in order for them to win. You expect somebody to do it at home.
Right.
On
Right.
on the road is a tussle. So let's see what Brown and KCP and the Porter, Jeff Green,
They'll
old man Green.
they'll
You know,
probably they'll
let's see
probably
what they
say
do tonight. Well,
they'll
because this is the series tonight.
yeah. Well, here's
This
the
is
thing.
the series tonight.
Here's the thing. They can fade back in the shadows and be absolutely awful on the road. Only problem is that Denver doesn't have to win a single road game to win this series.
No, they don't. They don't.
It
And
can
that's
be
true. Very true.
awful. They can be awful in crypto.com.
No,
Say,
it's true.
I hate
Not
calling
yet.
it.
Now they don't have to. They
They
don't
don't have
have
to
to.
game in LA.
No, you're
LA
absolutely right.
game in Denver if they want to go to the NBA finals.
No, you're absolutely right.
So
Absolutely right. But again, the best part about sports, outside of all our conspiracy things that happen and people come up with, you have to play the game.
yeah, you got to play the game. And to their credit, Denver and Miami have been just good enough, just better enough to hold a 2-0 series in each
Yeah.
conference.
Well,
And so
and so now look though. So here's the narrative nobody's really talking about too. More so on Miami side. So you have now Denver is a number one seed. They're
mhm,
supposed to win,
mhm,
right? Because they're number one seed. They my if every I hope no one have forgot that they're going against a seventh seed. They're supposed
right,
right. If you're talking seeds, they're supposed to be the seventh seed, right? But then on the other hand, Miami, eighth seed, they're supposed to be home already.
right. Although I will say about the Lakers, I believe if they started the season with this team that they have now,
Yeah,
as opposed to the Russ, Pat Bev,
yeah,
and I think they would be much high. They would have been much higher than the seventh seed. They after the trade deadline, they had the second best record in the
right,
NBA, and so while I do think they do still need a few. And I mean, I don't know. Do you keep D'Lo? Do you go after Kyrie Irving? What do you do in the off season? But I think they did good to get this far, considering how their season started.
right.
Um, 8 games under 500, 2-10
Eight game, 2-10,
was the at one point
13th seed.
13th seed out of 15. And so for them to be in the Western Conference Finals is really, but I just think they're overmatched in this series. I think
Yeah. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Well, and the fact too, let's not forget, other than Jeff Green, Denver is a young team.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Other than that, that actually plays.
right.
I know
Right.
they got like DeAndre Jordan on the bench or whatever, but he been washed for a long time. That's just my opinion. But uh, other than that, Denver is a younger team, and that's showing too the youth. But both teams were dog tired in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, you
I
could see
mean, Jamar Murray was so tired he almost couldn't even do his interview. He was
right.
so
But I
spent.
think Denver is better conditioned to deal with that altitude in
Well, you're supposed to be when that's where you live
that's a
and
major
play. That's
to
like, watch this. That's like when I come to Detroit, right? You can smell the stinky river, but you guys don't smell it. They'll be like, "What you talking about?"
yeah, it's like you go you at home with a baby and you got a dirty diaper, your nose pretty much gets used to the smell, but then somebody will come in from the outside
Oh
and
my
say,
God! You're like, man, what is that?
you don't smell that?
Yeah, it's it's the truth. I'll be in there. I'll be like, man, what is that smell? Everybody in Detroit be like, what are you talking about? Go, it stinks. Then find somebody say, oh, that's the my uncle was telling me one time about the Detroit River and the sewage system. Something he go, yeah, but we're used to it. I go, man, that's terrible.
Well, we'll do. They play tonight, right? The Lakers, and do they play tonight?
8:30.
Okay, we'll see what happens. I think too, because remember these are the four teams that were in the bubble series, but I think one of the main differences, particularly with the Lakers, is that in the bubble they had a Dwight Howard who could go up against Jokic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which allowed
Physical. He was physical.
physical with him. They don't have that. I mean, he got so desperate he put Tristan Thompson in the game the other night. That's how desperate they are for another big. And so I think that AD is finding himself having to work extremely hard on both
Well,
ends.
John, one big thing nobody's mentioning though, Jokic is not the same player that he was then. He's better now.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
because he one point in the game, early in the game, he was down low. He bumping AD physically. I'm like, yo, look at that. And before he was just all finesse. So he's not afraid any longer now to get down and get a little bit dirty.
Not at all. And while we're talking about big men, I gotta.
Don't do it. Don't do it, John. Don't do it.
Yes, I am. Now listen. You big soft. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, audience, I'm talking about Joel Embiid.
Oh, you can't use that word about the MVP.
MV pity, because he got a pity MVP because he cried so much. The real MVP is playing in Denver.
Woo!
And they should have gave it to him again, but they let this clown cry and cry and cry, and it's almost like the NBA said, "Here, take it, get it." I mean, 15-point game 7. See, first of all, you blow game 6 in your barn.
Your barn.
And then game 7, you go 5 for 18 for 15 points with the season on the line. Get out of here, man. Get out of here.
And so let's put that on. Let's put that on the magnifying glass. Put it on there. You're going home up 3-2. Up 3-2.
Unbelievable.
Right? You're the MVP. You're going home with the lead. You lose game 6, and then you get blown out. Game 7. Did you even play the second half, sir? Where were you the second?
And then did you see how he tried to throw his teammates under the bus?
Yeah.
I have no respect for that guy. He or Harden. I mean Harden. I don't know.
My thing is what's the name is kind of making me a little bit more happy though, but the big men nowadays, they don't play big man ball.
No. And that's whenever you hear Shaq do any type of commentary on him, that's one of his biggest frustrations with Joel Embiid. It's like, get away from that 3-point line, and you're the biggest, strongest guy on the court. Get on the block and make things happen.
Right.
And these guys are so. I'm going to save this topic for another show. But anytime I say this, people they vehemently disagree with me, but I believe it. Steph Curry is largely credited with changing the game of basketball.
Right.
Steph changed. That's all I hear about Steph is he changed the game. He changed the game. Yes, Steph. While I do think that's true, I do think he changed the game. I don't think he changed it for the better.
I have to agree with you.
the NBA, and I don't blame him directly because he's such a superior shooter that he's not responsible for people trying to copy and emulate
Right.
his style. So I
Correct.
don't blame him directly, but I think the NBA is the worst it's ever been, in my opinion, in terms of quality of play. I don't think it's ever been worse. And I think that can be directly attributed to the explosion of the three-point shot. And I mean, you had the Golden State Warriors crying about not getting foul shots in that previous series. Never mind the fact that you're taking 53-point shots.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
How do you expect to draw any type of contact shooting 53?
Absolutely.
But this
Absolutely.
is what the game has become. It is the no low post game, no big men, just a bunch of guys standing around the 3-point line waiting for somebody to kick it to them. I just think this is the worst
Absolutely.
the league has ever been.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree 100%.
And guys
And
like Joel Embiid are the byproduct of that. Dude, get on
yeah,
the. What are you
yeah,
doing?
yeah. Well, and again, it's fine if you put an emphasis on being having a jump shot, but for everybody to, it's terrible. And then a lot of the new rules that they have don't help none either.
No. I remember watching the game. I can't remember who was playing, but they were down by a point with a couple of seconds left on the clock. Got a tough miss, initiated the fast break. It was a 4-on-1 fast break at the end of the game. 4-on-1.
And they stopped and shot a three.
Every one of them stopped at the 3-point line. Nobody even thought to go to the basket.
How many points were they down by?
By a point. So a basket would have won the game.
Right.
So one of them.
I think I remember seeing that too.
Yeah. And I'm like, this is the disease. And again, Steph, I love him. He's a great player. I am a fan of Steph Curry. So I don't want this to sound in any way like I'm coming, because he's such an exceptional shooter. Like I say, you cannot blame him for other, but just that whole mindset. And they didn't.
Right.
They instinctively stopped at the 3-point line. Instinctively. 4-on-1 fast break. 4-on-1.
Yeah.
See that?
Well, and let's just go back to the other night, right? The Lakers are up 3 points, 5 points. LeBron's first 2 shots in the fourth quarter were long, not your average. They were long threes. Bro, you ain't hit a three all night. You've been go to the hole and get a real 3-point play.
And those long threes produce long rebounds, which produce fast break.
Ignite Denver's offense.
So, yeah, I don't think, just in terms of the quality of play, I don't think the league has ever been worse. I remember, if you remember that Game 7 between the Houston Rockets and the Golden State Warriors a couple of years ago. Game 7. Houston shot, I want to say 7 for 44 from the 3-point line. And at one point, they missed 29 straight 3-pointers. Now, nothing in your head after that 10th
tells you.
After that 10th or 12th miss in a row, nothing in your head said, maybe we need to try to do something. This is not working. No, they kept firing away and firing away and firing away. And I just think the game there's little to no creativity on offense. And I think I've never seen a worse NBA product than what I'm watching in today's game.
Do they even run set plays anymore other than the pick and roll?
Pick and roll, or they're gonna ISO. But again, it's just guys waiting to get the kick out. It's PJ Tucker sitting in the corner. You know
Either
what I'm saying?
side.
They do. That's just how that's how the game. I remember watching the first game between Kobe and LeBron. This was back in early 2003. The first 3-point shot in that game wasn't taken until maybe 2 minutes before halftime.
Mm.
Before anybody took a 3-point shot in that game.
Uh,
Contrast that.
woo.
Contrast that. How many 3-point shots are teams taking before halftime today?
Oh yeah,
Probably
exactly.
30.
You probably can count on your hand who went to the hoop now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so it's just a bad product. And so I'm really just waiting for this to be over so we can get to the fall. Because then you'll have playoff baseball and college football, and those are two of my favorite things to watch. But this NBA has been it's been unwatchable in many stretches. I've never watched fewer games than I have this year.
So what I'm kind of, I'm Laker fan, whatever, but I think I kind of want to see. I'm somewhat want to. I have a good interest in uh Denver against Butler.
I think for basketball purists, I think that would be the best matchup. It may not be the sexiest matchup. It may not be
Yeah.
the matchup that the NBA executives would want to see. I know that I believe in all my heart that NBA executives would rather see Lakers and Celtics.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Just oozing with tradition. Two teams
Did you?
sit 17 championships. This would represent the tiebreak. It's an instant storyline that you can sell to the public. What can you sell to the public with Denver and the Miami Heat?
You can sell playoff Jimmy against the Joker.
And the casual fan, which is what most networks want to attract. They got us. They got you. They got me. They want those people that don't. You ever notice how some people talk Super Bowl talk on social media that barely even watch football?
Yeah, just playoff time.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
they only
Well,
show
I
up.
mean, and because it's like a holiday, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All you hear nothing about it until it's time for it to come
But
around,
it
right?
attracts.
Even even your wives and your sisters, they don't watch
Exactly.
football at all.
People
But
putting Super
with
parties on.
Super Bowl, they don't know none of the teams, they don't know none of the story, but it's the Super Bowl.
But that's the
They'll,
magic
they'll
of
fix the food and they'll have the party because it's the Super Bowl.
And that's the magic of it because it attracts tons of casual football fans,
Yeah.
tons of people that are not diehard football, and that's the appeal to me that would be of a Lakers Celtics NBA Finals. It will
Right.
pull out those people that don't normally watch because that adds to advertising revenue and the like, and that allows the league to negotiate bigger contracts. And so I believe the league is pulling for Lakers and Celtics, but Denver and Miami are absolutely crashing this party.
They saying, hold up, wait a minute.
Hold up, wait a minute. So we'll
Well,
see.
it's always interesting to me too. When it comes to age in sports,
Mm-hmm.
LeBron is considered old, right? 38. Man, what I wouldn't do to go back to 38.
And what you talking about?
I mean, goodness, just
That's
just
old in
just,
NBA and
just
sports.
physically wise, man.
Yeah, that was 12 years ago for me.
Yeah, I mean, it is 20 for me. My gosh.
So, but you live. But I'm looking forward to seeing how the Lakers respond tonight. I think they'll win at home. They'll probably win both, but again, you gotta win in Denver. They don't
Well,
have to.
you have to you gotta win the night first.
Yeah.
Darvin Ham said it plainly the other night. we all our concern right now is game 3. I loved it because that's the case. I mean, uh, if you don't get game 3, okay, you got 4, but you're down 3 zip, lights out.
Lights out.
Get tonight, you get to Monday. Uh, Now you just got to go and you got to get one in Denver somewhere. It's better to get 5 because you probably won't get 7.
No, I don't think you'll win game 7.
Correct.
No, you're not going to win game 7.
Correct. So it's going to be quite interesting for sure.
Yes, but we'll see. I think they have the capability. Again, you walking out of Denver with a 6-point and a 5-point loss, so it's not like you're getting run out of the gym. I just saw they have the ability to kick it in another gear. Again, that Jamal Murray performance was incredible in that fourth quarter. It was incredible.
And it was amazing. I mean, he had a great. I mean, he was unconscious, couldn't miss. But the narrative's not really there for him as if it would have been a Steph, or LeBron, or even a Jimmy Butler, right? Even Butler would have got more credit for that quarter than Murray does.
Absolutely. I mean, and the stars are who they are, so I get it. They're going to get most of the coverage. They're going to get most of the ink in the press. But these guys have been putting on some sensational performances, man, and they're leading their series as a result. I mean, without those 23 points, Denver loses game 2. I'm convinced.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Not like they were open shots. They were highly contested.
Yeah. I think just about all of them were defended well.
LeBron played as good a defense as you could possibly pay. And he was hitting the shots, man.
It was hit the shots. Couple times AD was on him, long and late. He still hit the shot.
It was not like he was wide open. He was hitting.
Well, I will say this though: if they would call travel on them step backs, the whole league would be different. Well, that's another story for another day.
That's another change to the league that that's the James Harden effect that I can't stand. Because if you're going to allow a player to get that type of separation, that's impossible to guard. If you're going to allow him to get that kind of separation, that's crazy to me. Oof. Let me get off my soapbox because I just
listen. I just can't. I mean, I don't want to be the old man and get off my lawn.
That's
attitude, but the step back and the Euro step, come on.
Poison.
Can I get one of those to be a travel? I ain't asking for both, just one of them.
I'm asking for both because both are.
You're asking for a lot, I tell you.
Asking for both because both of them are travels.
Yeah.
So, but what do I know? I'm just a guy that likes to talk sports. So,
all right. So now listen, not to to kind of digress a little bit, but you're a father, right? And you're supportive in what your children do. Quite sure you showed up at the concerts, you went to the ball games, whatever. Your son is Ja Morant. What do you say to him, Dad?
Well, it depends on because I'm looking at T. Morant, his father, who seems more interested in being his own. He's almost discovered his own type of celebrity through his son.
Right.
He is a grown man. It's not like Ja Morant is 12. He's a grown man.
True.
But if I'm his father, I'm doing everything. You got to be willing to tell people the truth. But the problem with powerful people like Ja Morant, is that so many people are living off of him. That
which may be the case of his father now too. I say that too loud.
His father moved. His father bought a house right across the street from him.
Well, I think he bought the house for him, same block.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying. So when you are part of the gravy train, then you normally don't tell people what they need to hear. You tell them what they want to hear. And I think, but here's the thing, John Morant is old enough to know you just got suspended for the same thing. I just
Right.
think I think these guys get into a bubble of their own self-importance, and most celebrities live in a world where hardly anybody tells them no.
Right.
No, you can't.
That is true.
Everybody bends over backwards to accommodate them. You know how a ball game can be sold out for months. Let the arena hear that Michael Jordan wants to attend the game, and they'll magically find a seat for him, courtside.
Right. Right. Mike Jordan or the president.
Or the president, or they'll
Yeah.
magically find a seat for him. Restaurant been no reservations for weeks. Let some big name select. Oh, here, sit right here, Beyonce, or you know what I'm saying. And
And
so
even if the place is full, they're gonna tell you and I you need a reservation.
they're going
They
to
show up.
they're
Yeah.
going to find a spot for them. And so that's what these people are accustomed to. They're accustomed to people looking the other way and not holding them accountable for their actions. And I think Ja is being caught up in that.
Let's backtrack. You made a statement earlier about the money train, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or gravy train. So me as the father, if I see my gravy train about to wreck itself, and I know he's my gravy, shouldn't I say something?
You would think so, but I believe people are so afraid of offending, because it takes guts to tell people what they need to hear as opposed to what they want to hear. And you can
But you're the father.
yeah, but he's also a fan. Look at how he's living.
Wow. That's the problem.
That's the
Right?
problem.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
problem.
That's the
He over
problem.
he ran over there signing autographs and taking with people. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
no,
saying?
you're right. Right.
I wouldn't know who
So
T Morant was if it wasn't for Ja.
no, you're absolutely right. But again, because of that, you would think he need to step in
You
to
would
keep
think.
that going.
You would think, but again, a lot of times people are afraid to give people the blunt, honest truth because people get offended by it,
Yeah.
and that allows people that causes people not to be straightforward with folks. I don't want him to get mad at me because I told him the truth.
Well, yeah, I don't want to get mad at me, but then he's getting ready to throw it all away.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, everybody needs somebody in their circle that can look at them and say, first of all, what people like Ja and what other celebrities have to figure out. I understand your desire to want to maintain relationships from your past and people you don't want to feel like you selling them out just because you made it. But you need to be around. The only people that are really going to tell him the truth are people that got just as much to lose as he does. What did this kid who he's in the car with, who he was on,
Absolutely.
what did he have to lose?
Right.
Nothing.
Well, and John, the thing too as well is, let's just be honest. The truth of the matter, we live in a time of this social media. Everything you do, you post. Stop posting something.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows what you've been doing if you don't post it.
Pop, this young rapper named Pop Smoke, I believe is what he went by. He posted his address, his actual living address on social media. And some dude ran up in his house
And shot him.
Shot him.
Yeah.
There's a time when keeping it real needs to take a back seat to common sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and like you say, I mean, just don't post. Because I'm not going to sit here and believe over the course of time that all these athlete and just your regular people, we've done dumb and stupid things, but nobody knew it because it wasn't being posted.
Exactly. Exactly.
And so you got to know in this day and age to just, and especially after being suspended for, you just got smacked on the wrist. I mean, if you do it, you don't post it.
But that's you. Those are the type of decisions that you make when you don't have good people around you.
Yeah.
When you don't have people that will pull you aside and say, "Hey, stop this. You're killing yourself. Stop this." Again, that kid in the car, that wasn't even Ja's Instagram live. That was that kid.
The other guys.
That
Well,
was
and so now there's where the immaturity and the lack of knowledge comes in, because John's like, okay, well, it's not my account,
yeah, just
right?
foolish.
And then what's the and therefore too, I don't need to be around John if John not concerned, because you know what I just went through. But you go, yeah, let's put it on mine. No,
But
no,
that
I don't
but
need. If
the
that's
problem.
a friend, you don't need them.
That's the problem with surrounding yourself with people that have nothing to lose. That
Yeah,
kid, half of America knows his face now just because he had Ja on his Instagram live.
right, right.
So he don't have he's not going to think rationally and make a decision because hey, I'm in the car with John Moran. I'm about to go
Right.
live on Instagram. You know, he has nothing to
Well,
lose.
and it's so funny because I just seen a post, and I actually know the father and the son. You seen the post where the uh the young man was at a concert, school concert. They were doing it at the I think they were at the Lincoln Center, New York,
Mm-hmm.
and he gets happy. He kind of shouts. Have you seen that one yet?
I haven't seen that one.
Well, it's gone viral. Matter of fact, you met Elder Too Good at Trey's funeral.
Okay.
Uh, well, it's his son. So he's in this chorus that's singing at the Lincoln Center, New York City, and Jonathan loves praising and the Lord and church, and so his son's at the concert, and one of the songs they were singing, I guess, kind of touched him. So he's literally getting happy on. I gotta send you getting happy on the thing. Now it's going viral, because he's like getting his praise on at the Lincoln Center. Oh, it's hilarious. But I
Really?
mean, that's what you know, but that's what he's been doing all his life. Because even in Jonathan used to always post him and his son in the car singing and playing the tambourine, just acting silly.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but again, that's what he does, because it's been into him. Uh, and so if you have a relationship with your son prior to now that he's famous, right? You gotta tell him, look,
Yeah, I just don't think a lot of them are prepared to. And I don't know if NBA has counseling classes or if they have
no, you
any
know, you
type.
know what they do? They kind of what they do. They have those sessions
Yeah,
prior to the
to
draft,
prepare them for how
right?
much
But
lives are.
but it just is. It seems to me it's just like a one time deal.
Mm-hmm,
Just
mm-hmm.
to say that we do, because it's probably in the collective bargaining. You need to have this. So, a lot of times we do things just for the fact to say that we did it, but we don't do any follow up.
Well, I mean, you got to have financial literacy. Most of these, especially in our black schools in our inner city, where financial literacy is not really taught to black people,
Right, right,
you got a lot of people coming from meager means that these millions of dollars are being dumped on, and it's like they don't prepare for just how much their lives are going to change
Right.
overnight. And I don't think that Ja is the most mature guy. Their whole
Well,
team
yeah, and like you say,
Emma,
we say he grown, but he's only 23.
he's only
I mean, come
23.
on.
But
If I could get back some things I did and said when I was
no
23.
doubt, no doubt. But then you have the added pressure of being a famous athlete
Yeah,
and
that's true.
and you become a target for people.
Yeah.
Um, and so I don't think that kid that was with him purposely tried to do him in,
No,
but
because they're just out acting silly.
those are the types of unconscious moves that
Yeah.
people, when they don't understand the importance
But you're
of
not
what
not not stating any names, because we're not here to, you know, bash people or speak evil of anybody. But you remember the time we were hanging out, we went over certain individual's house that had a basketball uh rim in his backyard,
do.
and the father, who's older, and kind of no nonsense, right? He's standing there like gawking us as if, what are you guys out there doing, having fun, type deal. So we're having a good time minding our business. Nowadays, if he wanted to get us in some type of trouble, let's say by our other leaders per se, he could have taped us, nowadays, on the phone and sent it.
Live.
Correct. Correct. And all we were doing was having, and we weren't. I mean, that's far different than Brandeis and a gun,
Right.
right? But the point is, we were just enjoying ourselves, right? Not, we weren't bothering nobody. But there's certain things you can't do. You can't be Brandeis and a gun,
Just
uh,
can't.
in today's society, because you don't know who's got one in their car
And
too.
you have to keep, and that's the thought that has to be forefront in your brain. Because I'm Ja Morant, there are certain things that I just can't
Cannot do.
and I cannot be involved in.
No,
If I
that's
want
true.
any type of longevity in this industry, I
Yeah.
cannot do this.
Yeah, it's really, it should be a life lesson. I never forget. My pastor told me years ago, when I got into the ministry, he told me, Johnny said, now Herman, you can't be going everywhere the young people go. And then I was like, to
I agree.
myself, I was like, why not? Right? Uh, because he was thinking of me down the road, right? He said, because eventually you may be a leader. He said, he goes, and you
Right.
get there, you let your hair down. I ain't much hair anyway, but you let your hair down and get comfortable and say certain things. And he goes, one thing people do have is a memory.
That's right.
Man, oh well, and again, like I say, then I didn't want to receive because those were my peeps.
That's right.
You
And then
know,
once stuff go viral, once you can't walk it back.
can't walk it back.
It takes a life of its own on the internet, and it'll be out there forever. And
Yeah.
so you just really have to make, again, you when you surround yourself with yes men instead of people that have your best interest at heart. These are the type of situations you find yourself in.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
it's true.
blame his father because again, Ja is a grown man. I don't blame his father, but I certainly don't see the type of relationship between him and his father that would lead to accountability. I think his father's more interested in being his buddy than his dad. And that's unfortunate because now you got a guy who's probably looking at half of a year suspension.
Well, Dad, at least get me help. You know what I'm saying? No, you ain't got to say nothing to me, but get me the help. Do something.
And the problem is complicated again by an adoring public that hardly ever tells you no. So you start thinking you're invincible or that you're you're immune
above the law type
to
attitude.
accountability. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
immune to accountability. We see
yeah,
it all the time. How many things is well, I don't want to talk politics, but how many things has Donald Trump been
ah,
and you get been skirting the law his entire life,
yeah,
thumbing his
yeah,
nose at the law, because that's what happens in this country with the rich and the powerful. They get
yeah,
away with things that normal people can't get away with. And I think Josh gotten caught up in that, thinking that he can get away with. You just got caught with this. Just did it.
yeah, yeah.
So
It's
it would
true.
be a shame to see such a promising young career, because he's the Stephs and the LeBrons and the KDs. They're about to exit stage right.
Yeah,
They're on deck. You know
and
what I'm saying?
and there, and you know, the worst part about it is you mentioned the old name. Those guys are saying this kid is outstanding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
He's
yeah, don't you know? It's so it just hurts me so because you know
yeah.
I don't want him to blow it. Don't blow it,
No,
man.
he's deals with Nike, all of the you're going to be one of the standard bearers of the league, especially when these guys start to go and to fade off into the sunset. And so it would be a shame for his career to be over really before it really got into gear. So
Right.
we'll see if he learns from this, but odds are, again, you are known by the company you keep.
No, it's
And
true.
if if you don't surround yourself with people that are willing to hold you accountable, then this is what you come up. This is Herman. As long as we've known each other, I would be really upset if you let me just go get out of control without pulling me. I think we've got enough love and respect for each other where you can say, "Hey, John, that wasn't a good look. That you
No,
might
it's true. I would hope that I would be able to say it
without
without
ruining
offense.
our friendship."
Yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah,
know, because how can you tell somebody you really love them if you won't be honest with them?
right.
That's not
Yeah,
love. That's
no.
that's that's that's
Yeah,
codding.
that's another thing. That wise old man told me. You can't go everywhere with young people, and if one thing you do, he said, you be honest with people.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, very true. All
Mm,
right, well, our time is just about up today. This is our first time going for an hour, and it went by so quickly.
you
But we
did.
love you, John. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and the games or whatever you got going. Peace and love to everybody else out there. And we'll be back again. Lord says the same on next Saturday, 11 o'clock. All right. God bless you.
See ya.